Well, 5randoms might not need all 5 after game 2 goes their way pretty convincingly. This one's a 4-1. Gormonster's still here with me to break this one down. Do we need to say anything else other than Ninu?
Yeah, no, you're right. They don't need all 5.
Break it down.
Ninu. Let him play whatever he wants to. And so far, that's been a good formula for him. I mean,
right.
the buck in game 1, granted, it started to, I want to say fall off as the game went on, but like slowed down as the game went on is probably the better term for it. And then in this one, the Zen, if anything, just got better as time went on. It was like a fine wine. At the beginning, there were a couple of good moments for him, but then at the very end, specifically because he had Morale Boost 3 on top of everything else, plus the guillotine, like he was just a tank killer extraordinaire. I mean, it's so difficult to put up with him. As Kresnik had pointed out during the cast, he's just so survivable and so deadly at the same time that in the right hands, in this case Ninu's, what do you do against it? Well, the answer, at least for ChromaSpace, was nothing.
Yeah, I think you're a little sad, especially with some of the timing moments that we saw out of the Zen in this one. Yeah. There was the reanimate immediately into the spite, and you noted Morale Boost 3 almost immediately for Ninu. And you are getting those ultimates up like clockwork.
I mean, I was looking at it, and it was a little over 4%, but not quite 5% every single time that he was hitting an attack. So he was able to get this ult up within about 20 swings, right? Maybe a little more,
and
up to like 20 to 25. So worst case scenario for him is that it's going to, take him one team fight to be able to get back. But he was just ulting off cooldown, making sure to shut down. Specifically Ovim, again, it came up in so many choice positions against Ovim that it made it easy to get rid of him. But the same thing for Coriel, like you just didn't get to feel the impact from the tanks because they were dead.
Yeah, Ovim, a touch of a rough game, I think, on the Terminus that time around. But similarly to how, we maybe forgive some of Spunky's deaths in game 1 because he was focused so heavily. When you're being spited essentially on cooldown as a Terminus, maybe you forgive a little bit of that. I think a bright spot, though, for ChromaSpace is Adam on this Bomb King, where so many of the slash lines and damage numbers and things like that were not in their favor, even remotely in that game. I think in game 1 and now here in game 2, Bomb King continues to be a good pick for them.
I'll say the two names that stood out on ChromaSpace for me, and maybe not for the reasons they would like, but it was Adam and Nepo because I didn't know what to expect out of them, right? I've seen Ovim, I've seen Nalubka, I've seen Coriel countless times in the past, but these were two names that it's like, okay, you ring a bell, I know I've seen your games before, but you haven't been at the front of the scene for a while, so where are you going to sit with these all-stars that are not only on your team but also on the other side? And they have been bringing the heat with them.
I agree.
They both have had good games in game 1 and 2. It's just a factor of maybe getting their feet underneath them for this third one. I mean, you're going to Brightmarsh. This is a very wish-washy map, but this is one you could take.
Well, I think Ninu, in a weird way, just proved how powerful Zen is. I assume these guys all know it, but maybe realizing that now, they're going to ban him out first of all.
Oh, for sure.
That leaves Rom open for the first pick.
And the question will have to come down to how much he can do, right? I'm looking at ChromaSpace. I've seen Ovim play. I don't think this is Ovim's style. This feels like a Coriel draft for me. And I like it. I think it's going to feel very comfortable for them. I love the way he can come into the game. Again, a lot of DR, damage reduction, inside of his kit, just to kind of keep him going. Rom himself, the only way to kill him, this is going to sound really stupid, but this is the truth. The only way to kill him is to just take his health bar down to 0. There's no insane, like, turnaround, oh, if you get rid of the shield, he's dead, or you get rid of the wall, they're dead, or if you lock him, it's just... You just shoot him until he dies. It's
a slow burn, and you have to melt through it. Some teams have found good ways of working through it. Other teams have not. You look at Khan and Makoa, that's who's going to be going toe-to-toe with that ROM a lot of the time. Do you like pairing those two together?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say no, right?
I mean, you go back not even 6 months ago, and that's like you get two of those on one team, and you win. That's your winning factor. The fact that Makoa has fallen so hard, I understand it, but it still blows my mind. He does a lot. It's still really, really good for him, but you're not going to see him, I think, as high priority as we've seen. I mean, 2 games where he's been available and not picked up. Now he's going, what is that, 6th overall? So I expect a lot from him, but at the same time, I don't expect him to be the game changer.
Would you have ever expected me to say Spunky's playing Sky? Is that a word or phrase you ever expected me to utter? I don't know if they'll lock it in. They are going to lock it in, and I'm assuming that's going to be Ninu on the Bomb King. I think it'd be criminal if it wasn't. Sky, Koga, who do you like there?
Koga more
Sure.
in the 1v1. I think it's not going to matter, though, because Bomb King is in Ninu's hands on one of Bomb King's best maps. And that's kind of been the story of, well, the week so far.
Sure. Well, 5randoms, one game away from taking the finals. Finch, it's all yours.
Game 1 was close. Game 2 really wasn't. So on to Game 3 we go. 5randoms with a chance to shut things down right here. But I don't think ChromaSpace wants that one to happen. And on to Bright Marsh. We have this Sky locked in. I mean, I feel like the Bomb King probably is the headline. But real quick, talk to me a bit about what they want out of this Sky pick.
It's to counter the tanks. Because of that Cassie getting picked up by ChromaSpace on the other side, they lost that percentage health damage. I have to stop because I have to say Spunky Bomb King.
Yeah.
That is not something I expected to see, but we'll see how that goes. I was worried at first looking at this draft. I'm like, man, what are they going to do for range? Like, how are they going to poke at long range? They really don't have any way to do that. And then I realized, look at ChromaSpace's draft. They're not going to do anything but int. They are just going to run you down all game, so range doesn't really matter. You got that debilitate extra shred onto the tanks. You have Bomb King being able to stack bombs on top of you, constant burst damage around corners too, and they're also just full of CC, so that Rom and Ruckus, they're going to have to spend ultimates, honestly, to not die to any of that hard CC on 5randoms.
I do think there's going to be a lot on Ovum, who struggled on the Terminus in map number 2, right, to really be able to make this ROM pick see some value. His first pick overall, but already McCall hooks the Ruckus back in, forced the defensive positioning, but can't even get away. Spunky, if you had any questions about the Bomb King, those have been answered there, haven't they? As he finds the first blood. Adam does get one kill, but gets traded out right away, so 2 for 1 in favor of 5randoms here so far. Rom trying to get into the backline, harass them back out, but 5randoms coming out hot here so far.
Ovum literally in a nightmare ROM scenario. You're fighting a Damba on a gourd and you only have caught one, you're literally going to do nothing. And you can tell Ovum gets shredded there at the end by Spunky. Point, firm control of 5randoms, I would say, but you can see all of ChromaSpace shifting. I think they know that they have to take like 5v1s, 5v2s if they want to find kills.
Oh, it's Ruckus trying to find a way in, but gets so shredded. Ninu putting in great damage there from his low positioning, but this is the fight they need. Ovum, Coriel, Adam, and a double for Ovum. They've been able to light up the kill feed, a full-on wipe, as ChromaSpace, just as you said, were able to take some individual fights and get right back onto the point.
And this is going to be a lot harder for 5randoms than it is for ChromaSpace. The retake scenario, when you're pushing into them, they're going to shred you to pieces before you get in. Even with this early hook on Ovum, I think he has the sprint and too much damage, but the other side's getting pushed in.
Someone has to get back there and stop this damage coming out from Nepo. Not a whole lot comes out. Ninu does find Coriel with an ultimate there, makes it into a double kill now on the point, takes the fight up against the Koga. You cannot afford to stick around. A triple kill now for Ninu, who gets it done no matter what he picks up. 5randoms now in overtime, just have to keep the ROM from making it in. He does get in time in order to stop the cap from going through. Now it's about how much time can he buy, drops the ultimate, and that does lock down one. Ninu shuts him out, but now the Ruckus can get here to try and buy some time for the squad. A double kill shuts him down, though. Randoms get the cap.
There's so much CC on that team. Even once they got in, they didn't spend it on the ROM, so they had it for everybody else. And now 5randoms are just going to clean them up and settle. Nepo does get a trade. It's kind of big for this. It means that they can take that aggressive positioning instead of worrying about dropping down. Huge thing about Bright Marsh. When you go down from this, unless you have specific vertical mobility, you're not getting back up. You cannot recommit to this high ground. So if you're at all at a risk of dying, it's so hard to make the choice of committing or not, but those picks might have made it just a little bit easier for Chroma.
5randoms do get quite a bit of push off of it as the ROM makes his way to the back. He's trying to get past this con and tries to even shred through some of these shields. 5randoms have recognized and backed off the payload for now. Sky Ultimate comes out again, does find some damage. King Bomb rolling through as well and hasn't found much yet. Actually gets shut down. Nebula takes care of Spunky on the back end of that, but Nepo falls too, so 1 for 1 in that little skirmish.
They still got 2, actually. Adam, though, trying to dive in the back. Smoke Bomb is going to make it very hard to find any kills as Adam is just tearing through.
2 for 2 here so far. 5randoms still in great positioning. Ovum, though, has now pushed them back. Adam wants to keep this fight going on the Koga, and this should be a good spot now here for ChromaSpace. They're delaying some of these respawns for 5randoms, pushing them back and trying to hold on.
One quick question I want to know is, what kind of loadout is Ovum running? I've seen a lot of different takes on the ROM build, whether you focus on DR, and one thing I've seen a lot in some higher tier gameplay is people have been running
nice pull.
distance and reset.
Gets pulled right back into the Wolves. Boca gets away with that one. That's nasty to start the fight off here for 5randoms.
Yeah, and we'll see how far they're willing to go with this. Actually, they just walk behind Luca and stun him onto the cart.
But Adam and Kuril are able to answer back. They take Spunky and Bulk out. That's the Damba healing taken out of the equation here for 5randoms. So they'll probably slow down, give that Damba a bit of time to join back in. And Ovum doesn't want to let them. He gets answered back. You mentioned there's so much CC to make his life harder. As they do answer out, Ninu gets straight in the back line. Adam does as well, so still delayed for 5randoms.
Yeah, and we actually did get a little peek at the loadout there for a moment. It is DR. He's running DR. He's not running the reset build, and that makes sense. I think you can run Subjugation 4 or 5 from more distance and more reset against teams that don't have a lot of CC. That's not this other side. They're able to stop his run in a lot of different ways. So
yeah.
Makes sense to have the utility more in living once that actually happens.
It's almost inevitable that he'll be getting that interruption, so it makes some sense to me. Putting in good damage on Ninu. I don't know if this is a winning trade here for him. He gets shut down. ChromaSpace has answered back successfully with the defense and kept this game at 1-1.
They've also saved all their ultimates. Overpower was used at one point by Khan. I don't think it really turned into anything that helped them convert, because here they are at 1-1, but all the ults on ChromaSpace, they have a couple of options here, and good stuff by Ninu there with that duel. Honestly, star of that fight right there, I'm assuming Ninu probably has a card called Emergency Exit at level 1 or 2 in his build. That saved him. It lets you keep firing while being invisible, but only when you get low. So when you're low, you get forced into this invisibility state and you can keep shooting. You can't really win a 1v1 against that. Yeah, filler card, a 1-point card, just got a triple kill for Ninu. And that shows how important the loadout system is in this game.
No, you're right, man. Those small bits of variance, they really can be so important. Yeah, we'd like you to come head out with everybody else to come be a part of this next fight. As ChromaSpace are in decent position, as you mentioned, they held on to a ton, really all of their resources in terms of ultimates if they want to commit them for this initial point fight. And it looks like that is indeed going to be the call. They've made it all the way to the back line, locking down the Grover first. Nebula removed. Ninu gets 1 kill in the Koril. It's a double kill, actually, as Adam falls as well. I talked about all of ChromaSpace's reforces. A heck of a lot of good it did him here.
All right, ChromaSpace, I know you have 2 off tanks, but you still have to watch both angles. Ninu taunts in front of Oven because of the Grumpy Bomb, and they just get wasted in the front. I can't believe they're actually still alive up front. Very low HP, but now ChromaSpace is stuck waiting for Ovim's respawn. He's really the only one who can reliably get this point touch.
That's right. He's the one they're going to need to be able to push past everyone else to get in and stop the percent from building up. 5randoms really just kind of keep them zoned out for now. Ruckus in position with Ovum coming around the right. He's the one that you want to keep your eyes on. Volka forced to back up here a bit. Does get the lockdown the Koril that they were looking for up top, but now he's taking a little bit too much damage. The Ruckus moves in, catches him out perfectly, and shuts him down. The Damba ends up falling. Adam gets Ninu as well, so ChromaSpace certainly still in this one.
They didn't support the main enough. I think they left that right side open, and again, what is it with these double off-time teams not covering all the angles? Overpower gets Ovum, but they still have to win the rest of the fight.
They have to make sure they find a bit more. Spunky does get the kill on Ovum, but it's Adam who finds himself a double. Spunky and Exentra removed from this one, and ChromaSpace can start moving in, but still 5randoms, thanks to this Makoa had good positioning. Finally, Zarini gets taken out of it, and ChromaSpace now firmly out in front. 90% and going. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anyone from 5randoms in time for the touch. ChromaSpace now, the ones with the cap.
Little bit late there, Ninu, just forcing them forward, but all you've done is ruin the chance for Exentra to survive. Saved by the enemy Cassie, but he won't live for long.
No, he certainly will not. Nepo maybe rights the wrong there on that one and ends up getting the kill. Spunky finally makes Ovum pay for it. 3 kills coming through from ChromaSpace, lighten it up, make it a full-on wipe as 5randoms cannot get their feet set.
That was Nelubka's quad. He got a root that hit the entire team in front of Adium. I mean, that was 100% that support with a fantastic throw. And that's why you see deep roots being used. After some adjustments to Rampant Blooming, not doing quite as much healing as it was before, everyone is just like, oh, I'll just lay on CC. Resilience at max is only 60%. They have some use pretty much all the time from it now, and you can see right there a great time it was used.
Well, I feel like we're finally getting to see this Cassie have the value that you want on Bright Marsh, right? As they can finally use these long sight lines to help. Nebula gets the first kill. Zarini responds by getting a kill into Ovum. Spunky wasn't hidden enough as Nepo continues to take pot shots from safety to open this map up. Good pull on Makoa, but Adam survives it all. That means they're certainly still in position to look for a bit more.
Yeah, big game, so impactful against Makoa. Very hard for him to get aggressive. But the percentage health damage on the other side from Ninu is more than enough to turn that DPS fight.
And dropping the bomb over the wall as well. If anyone had stuck around, Ninu forced them out. Buys some time for the rest of 5randoms to not just get in position, but push a little bit further forward as well, as Zarini wants to see if he can push Ovum back beyond everybody else on his time in terms of respawn timer. But Ovum certainly still standing, but not going to be able to make it out of this one.
Spunky taking a page out of a previous teammate's book, lazy with
fine.
some of these Bomb King ults, not really connecting on much of anything on the backside.
Yeah, we heard the Bomb King go off, the King Bomb rather go off, and didn't find much. As you mentioned, Ninu falls as well, and this could be what ChromaSpace need now as they start to push in. Really only the Khan and the Bomb King still up to try and delay this one, but someone's got to make sure they actually get their body in to slow down the push, or just keep happening. The damage too much, they can't move back in, and ChromaSpace go from tied to a successful cap into the successful push.
Huge focus fire by ChromaSpace there. I think the fact that they were shooting at Exent. Oh, I have to stop to look at it. Everybody rooted in front of the Koga. That is dirty. Koga ult. The only weakness of it was, oh, you just walk away. You can't now. You can't if you're all being rooted right in front of it. So great damage there. Great follow-up by Adium. I don't know if that was a set play or not, but if it wasn't, very impactful. Either way, the focus fire on that final push by ChromaSpace, focusing down the tank. They knew Zarini didn't have respawn for quite a while, so they just only shoot the Khan. No one else on that team can reasonably delay a cap, so Exentra's super low, they just give up. No one even makes an effort because they know they have no chance.
They really weren't going to be able to make it in, you're right, and ChromaSpace now grab a commanding lead, up 3-1, but we saw earlier 5randoms had the 3-1, it came all the way back to 3-3, but they did inevitably close it out. We'll see how this fight goes. Kirill has done a great job establishing position, looks for the Bomb King over on the side, but finds the stun, and that allows the Bomb King to reposition, but only for a moment. Kirill keeps hunting and shuts him down. Zarini makes it a trade, but now it's a double for the Ruckus. He lets loose on the Hexafire. They get a 3 for 2, and ChromaSpace in a good position here so far to maybe come in and shut down 5randoms.
These two are going to go down on the point.
Yeah.
Great adaptation by ChromaSpace. They had people watching the point this time, so no huge wraparound pinch that like Accenture was trying to do. They did get cap time, but I mean, so much more control by ChromaSpace. They're all stacking on this objective, and anybody who wants to walk in is just going to go right into a death trap.
Cassie commits the ultimate here, so they've got the information on how 5randoms are looking for the retake. Spunky falls, Zarini falls, Nepo looking comfortable from range as he's been able to finally get some good shots on the Cassie. They send Exentra out of there as well. ChromaSpace now starting to look much better here in this must-win fourth map.
Yeah, and it's been pretty solid so far. This I don't think they have a chance to touch with this Ruckus all the way in their face. He used his dash already. Makoa can't touch.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to make it in. They get rid of him anyway. Zarini taken out. ChromaSpace may have been struggling early on, but they find the victory here. One final point. Cap does it, and we're going to keep this one going.
I can't believe I didn't think about this before, but they were playing the Russians on Brightmarsh. You can't do that. Every LAN they've ever done, ChromaSpace has always won on Brightmarsh against huge upsets every single time. Of course they were going to win Brightmarsh. I don't know why I ever thought otherwise.
They clearly look comfortable here on it. And I think really when they got that second cap, when they were able to start pushing the payload, that was when things looked a lot better for them. I think that was what they drafted that composition for, was for that push, and they finally got one.
Yeah, able to force them into them, I think, with that burst damage, and made great with the double off-tank comp, too.
Ends up working well for them, so we're certainly going to have more happening here in the EU PCC qualifier finals. Couple of minutes, we'll be right back with more Paladins action.